Man, the amount of, I say this to any new agent that will listen to me.
Small subset of people.
You would be surprised.
No, I'm kidding. I listen to you.
I say, like, sacrifice the first 12 months of your career. They're like, what does that even mean? Don't worry about how much money goes into your bank account for the first 12 months. I want to make $100,000 this year. Newsflash, first of all, you're not going to. Second of all, don't worry about how much you make. Follow someone around that knows what they're doing and sit in on every single meeting and every single buyer interaction, every conversation with them, and just learn. Because it took me, and I'm not joking when I say this to people, but I did 17 transactions in year one, but I saw 75. So 75 for most realtors is a decade, is 10 years. So I got 10 years of experience in my first 8 months. And then year two, I don't know, it was like 75. It was a big jump. But
So
the point of the story
is 75.
76, yeah.
This guy.
I remember weird numbers. But the important thing is that, okay, so
what was year three?
Year three was over 100.
4?
That was my biggest year. I think it was 110. It was like between 106
Let's
and
just
110.
keep going. 5.
Year 5 is when we started bringing on other team members. So I started outletting more and just kind of overseeing transactions. But like our team grew. So the busiest year our team was 210, which was last year.
And that was 5 of you, correct?
Yep.
Big numbers.
Not many people are mentally stupid enough to take on 110 transactions per year. It was an unconscionable. And I know that's a word.
It's a made up word.
It was a ridiculous amount of time, stress, energy, emotions. Like, it was unbelievable. It was 7 days a week of 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. with like an hour break at 9 p.m. for dinner.
And so what gave? Was it, I think I remember, it was your health, correct, that year?
I definitely put that on the back burner. I mean, like, I was inefficient because I was newer. At that point, I was like 2 or 3 years in or whatever. And so I took more time than I would now to do simpler things, like evaluating a property. Evaluating condos takes 15 minutes versus back then it might have taken an hour and a half, because I'd spend more time because I wasn't as confident, because I hadn't seen as much. So I don't know. I think really what me and Jamie wanted to do was provide better service to more people. We had come up with this strategy and game plan and marketing plan that works. And there's a lot of realtors that don't really know what they're doing. And so we thought, if we can share all this information that we have from these hundreds of transactions every year with other people to make them better realtors, then consumers are going to get better service, or a bigger portion of consumers are going to get better service. It pains me so much, Brady, dealing with people that do a few transactions per year, which is not their fault. They just haven't had enough experience, but that are just giving people really bad advice. And now people are making mistakes with very large investments. And I want to stop that from happening, one transaction at a time, one home sale at a time, one happy couple at a time, Brady.
The big endeavor.
I mean, depends how you look at it.
But
if you look at it as I'm going to take over the world, which is not how I look at it, then yeah, it's a big endeavor. There's so many different personalities of humans on the planet. And I just have been okay that some listing appointments, people just aren't going to like me. And they're not going to pick me. And that's totally fine. But in year 1 or 2, when I lost listing appointments, it was devastating. Because like every single deal meant so much.
Right.
And I was confused as to why people, no. Like, trust me, we're better. We're better. I've done a lot of market research. I've met hundreds of realtors in the last 12 months, and we just do things better than that person. But that's not necessarily the way you should be articulating your competitive advantage. But it is strange.
Well, fit is like everything.
With most things. Like, then I started learning as I started working with more professionals myself of like, you work with people that you enjoy being around. And yes, they need to have a skill set.
Case in point.
Thank you. You being around me or me being around you?
Both. We're incredible.
Super honest. I love that. I don't even know where I was going.
Speechless.
Oh, you learn like, if you weren't good at what you're doing, I wouldn't use you. But because you're good and you're my friend, I really like, first of all, supporting you. And I really like that I can call you and harass you anytime I want.
It's true. It's true. I'm okay with it. But yeah.
It's the same as anything, like home inspectors that we refer out, contractors. Like when you're able to trust people outside of the actual profession, I think it means a lot more.
Well, it makes life a lot easier when you know in any situation that it's going to be, they're going to do what's in the best interest, right? Like that. I mean, we talked about the 100 bags of self-leveler. And instantly you're like, well, no matter what you say now, your credibility's gone. It's gone. Like, this is insane that you approached. Don't even have to get into the backstory because I didn't really want to talk about it. But Carl knows and you know, but 100 bags of self-leveler, guy came at me 5 days before, felt like a squeeze. Their trust is broken. No matter how much I like that person, and I didn't really like him to begin with, but after that, like, okay, you're gone. Like, there's no way. There's no coming back from that. And that was obviously a subset of something else. But it's everything. It's everything. Trust. Easily, hard to gain, easy to break, something like that. What's the saying? There's a saying.
I do understand that saying, but I also try to not run my life in that direction. I feel like it's slightly counterproductive to make people prove themselves to you. I feel like you are making slow progress instead of potentially making giant leaps quicker.
Well, and the hope is dealing with people that, today, for example, right, meeting Derek, borrowing trust, right? Like, that's the realities. But you can get a sense of him and you see who he is pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, sometimes there's fit and sometimes there's not. Simple.
In any business, it seems like the referrals are the strongest, most loyal clients, right? And it takes a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of experience, a lot of trial and error to earn those referral clients. But then once you start seeing the snowball effect of past clients referring you business, makes you know that you're on the right track a little bit.
What nurturing do you do for your centers of influence or referral sources or, do you have a process for that?
This is a constant evolution in the business, and it's something that we talk about probably every few months on how we can do it better. Because it is a fine line between making sure that you are reaching out to people, making sure that people know you exist after you buy or sell a home with us, or you invest money with you, or whatever. But also borderline harassing people. People don't want to get 12 letters in the mail and just throw paper into the garbage, right? So it's this balance of communicating consistently.
The right kind of annoying is what I heard.
Yeah, but I guess in our industry, it's like providing some sort of knowledge, providing value. So the podcast is really great for that. And so our client newsletters that are like our email newsletters that are monthly are like, check out the most recent podcast where we talk about this. This is what's new with the team. This is what's new going on in real estate in Greater Vancouver, whatever. And it's more just like market updates that we're sharing information or like deal of the month or like places to look for long-term investments or whatever. We do a lot of things. We do stationery. We do like birthday cards and anniversary cards yearly. I'd say the things that are the most fun and personally I get the most value out of, but I think clients probably enjoy the most are those like yearly parties, events. So like July is the fun one that at the brewery with like this year we had 1,600 people there. Most of this is.
You get to go?
Carl was invited. You were invited.
Marginally offended.
You were definitely invited.
I was like, if we're selling the condo now, I get to. No, I'm just kidding.
You were invited last year. If you deleted the email, that's your fault.
I don't remember July.
These pricks are annoying me again. Delete.
It's okay.
That event is awesome, though. I think we had about 350 people this year. Oh. The 1,600 is like, it's the Steel and Oak anniversary party that we just like have a tent at and invite all our clients to and give them free beer. So yeah, I think it was roughly 350 people that came out, but those are so fun. And it is like a complete whirlwind of a day because you're just like talking to
everyone.
So many different people and it's like catching up. How was that neighborhood? Whatever. Oh my gosh, you had another kid. Like it's crazy. But they're really fun and clients love it. And so those types of things I think are really good for client retention and to catch up. Honestly, social media is an unbelievable tool, right? Like hundreds and hundreds of past clients follow us and they feel like they know everything about us and they're updated on our lives. And Jamie moved to North Van and Denny moved to Port Moody and Jamie had another kid and bought another dog and had a cat and got, swiped by a bear and like, but like
personal.
Totally. And that is a really cool part of being active on social media. Yes, it's good for marketing listings. Yes, it's good for building a brand, but it's also really good for staying in touch with past clients. Even just like the engaging with past clients on social media when they're posting about their lives, you're commenting or saying hello or whatever. I think those are really valuable. But honestly, it's a constant work in progress because we want to tiptoe that line of staying in contact with people, but never being annoying or never doing it just because we feel like we're supposed to do it, but we're trying to add some sort of value or knowledge in the way that we're communicating with them. If you have any super exciting ideas, feel free to share them.
No, I was looking to steal from you first.
Like we want to touch, reach out to people 12 to 15 times a year. That's our goal.
12 to 15. Wow.
So a birthday card is one, an anniversary card of when they moved into their new home is one.
Kids' birthdays are better than their birthdays. Yeah,
but I don't think you're allowed to give kids scratch and win tickets.
But honestly, like just even the fact of sending, it's hard because you start having how many, I'm blanking on your partner's name.
Jamie,
how many kids does he have? 3?
3.
Right. Like to remember to send 3 birthday cards at different subsequent times and have it there before, it's challenging. Yeah. Like, I don't care about my birthday.
The most challenging part of that though is collecting the information. So you have to understand that realtors are not organized individuals. Never have been, never will be. We are fly by the seat of our pants, don't know what's going on 24 hours from now. And so collecting extra information on top of all the other information that we have to collect,
absolutely,
such as a kid's birthday, is a step above where we are today.
And again, I mean, again, that's just what I've felt, right? A birthday card for me, I don't care about my birthday. My wife doesn't care about my birthday. It actually is in between two of my daughter's birthdays. It's irrelevant now. It was irrelevant before.
Totally.
But now it's extra irrelevant. So
I get it, and that's a really good idea. I just don't know how that would be implemented retroactively.
And again, so it's easier for me. You know, we handle our ESPs for kids, or for parents, so we have their date of birth. But it's one of the things that I wanted to start tracking moving forward, and as we continue to review with people, is like, what's so and so's kid's date of birth? And not that we have to send a birthday card, but in mine, there's stats around generational wealth and the transfer that's coming, $1.3 trillion in assets over the next 25 years, and 90% won't stay with current advisors.
Isn't that like 1/100th of how much money Trudeau gave out in the last 2 years? It doesn't even sound like that much money anymore because everyone's just giving it away.
True. Trillion is still, for Canada, that's a sizable number. Yes. I'm going to sidestep that one. But you kind of go, and that generational transfer, to me, I was like, that's the money, right? The short game, survive, long game, like thrive. And again, can you build that relationship with the next generation through, and is sending a birthday card going to be the end all? But no, retroactively going back and tracking all that hard. But I think those are the touch points. At least if somebody sent a birthday card to Harlow, I'd be like, oh, how did you track that? Right? Like, that's the first question that comes to my mind. We have a CRM where I'm like, kids' names, dates of birth. Mm-hmm. Even if we don't handle their ASPs, just to like, we have this information so that, even walking into a meeting, hey, there's me as an example, like, hey, how's Harlow? Like, that little thing means more to people than like, happy birthday. Mm-hmm. You remembered my kid's name? Oh, how's Emma? And again, I'm just using obviously myself as the example. Well, not obviously, I'm using myself as the example, but like that touch point, people care. Like, it shows you paid attention. Even though I tracked it in my CRM and wrote it down and looked while I was in the driveway. Half kidding, but doesn't matter, right? I at least made the effort. That's what I've found, right? I say the training of clients or COI or centers of influence or, referral sources. We'll get a referral from a client or it's like, oh, I passed on your name or I did this. The training around that to be like, how did you reach out to us? Like, oh, so-and-so just connected us via email. Absolutely. I find that's a better way because unfortunately, people don't really get in contact. Oh, so I should connect you via email? If you want to, absolutely. But like, I find put the ball in my court, they're actually going to act. And that's the training I've found with a lot of clients now is like, especially if they're the right type of clients, like that, here's how we want to be introduced. Because unfortunately, like, I gave your contact info to Bob. Bob's never going to call. Mm-hmm. Or if he does, it's too late. Like, there's not much we can help with, or somebody else has been like, just there's too much noise. I find like that's the training I'm doing with a lot of the clients we want to work with. It's like, hey, you should meet this person. Great. Can you connect me via email or connect me text message? Easier too, right? Adding that little bit of layer, I guess. I don't know what to call it, but those are the things we've just been trying to put a focus on for our centers of influence or our referral sources, where it's like, great, you passed on my name. Doesn't really mean much, right? Unless the person acts, which in my industry is seldom. So, and again, I don't know how to make it so that like the client you want to work with that's, selling the $2 million home, I don't know, I'm just using that as an example for you, or, an up and coming business owner, like those are the things where it's like, how do we get that intro early to be in the conversation. So as they grow, like our foot's already in the door. I don't know. I don't have an answer. And I
feel like financial literacy and investing is very intimidating for people.
Numbers.
They always feel like, regardless of how much money they have to invest, 50 grand, 100 grand, 500 grand, doesn't matter. They always feel like, I don't know if, like, will he make fun of me that I only have 50 grand to throw at him? Like, I think that is pretty common versus real estate is like, no, I need to move tomorrow. And I'm going to sell my 1-bedroom condo because my wife just had a kid and we need to move immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Versus
there's urgency.
I've got 50 grand. Maybe I'll call him when I have 100 grand saved or what, whatever.
Yeah. I was with a client, older client. It was pretty wild. So he pulled out this account. He's 96 years old. Keep this in mind. Have I told you this one already? I don't think I have.
Good for this guy.
96 years old. Pulls out this account. I had no idea it existed. But he's like, oh, I have this extra here. And I'm looking at him going, oh, wow. He's like, it's incredible. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm taking a look at it. I go,
a bank account is incredible?
So it was actually invested.
Okay.
And I was like, sorry, how long have you been contributing to this account? He goes, since I was 16.
Whoa.
Right? And I was like, how much have you been putting into it since? He's like, $97 a
month
since he was 16. And I'm like, holy, like you've been doing this for 80 years. One, how did you afford like 80 years ago?
Good point.
$97 relative. He was in the military. He's like, I wasn't spending anything, so I just decided to save it. And I never really stopped. The actual...
And he never increased the contribution. That's
on that account. Like,
on
again,
that
he's not poor by no means. He's got other challenging issues now. But honestly, the actual underlying investments were not great. But the sheer time to accumulate, I was like, I mean, obviously I haven't done anything. None of us have combined. We actually haven't done anything for almost, well, maybe close 80 years, been alive. That's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but I was just so shocked at the sheer habit of accumulation over that. Like, it makes sense. I get it, but just, and then I was also a little like, why didn't you tell me about this account sooner? Why, like, I wish I knew it existed. He's like, well, it's incredible. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to bash it other than the habit is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
The habit is incredible. 80 years at $97 a month. I think it was worth just shy of 3 with the underlying investments, but just sheer accumulation. So come back to that, like
$3 million.
No, 300,000.
Oh, Jesus.
No, again, not like no, but just do them at $97 a month. So what's that? 12? Do you have a calculator there? What's 1,200 times 80? I can't do that math in my head. 12,000. No, I can't even. I'm not even going to bother. 100 years is what? 120.
1,200 times 80.
1,200 times 80 is 96,000.
So tripled almost, but just the sheer time. So like that person, and that's that financial literacy side of things. You know, most people will never do that. That's obscene.
Challenge accepted.
$97 a month, Brady. 80 years. Here we go.
Hold on, I'm 33, so 80 years is going to put me to 113. I could make it.
But it was just, I was like flabbergasted, right? Like how? And I should have gone back and seen what, like, well, 80 years ago, what's $97 a month, and with inflation, like, what is that in today's dollars?
Yeah.
But yeah, never increased it.
300,000, to be completely honest, over 80 years seems very low.
But on what did we say, 96,000?
But that would be like, yeah, but that would be like a low interest savings account. That's not like you're compounding yearly at 8 or 10%.
I think it was like 4.5 over 80 years. Like some of the companies that it was like a Canadian equity fund or whatever he was in don't exist, right? Like there's probably many companies within that have bought, sold, bankrupt. That's why I said the underlying investments were actually not that great. It was just the sheer time, habit and time. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, how did, again, 80 years is incomprehensible. Like, I can't comprehend that, obviously, at our ages. As I said, the only thing we've done for more than 80 years is live between the three of us.
Fair enough.
But that literacy to say to the individual, it's like, I only have 50. It's like, well, you got to start somewhere and like, look at this individual. Have it over and over and over again. Running, real estate, advising, this film room, right? Like, this didn't happen overnight. Habits.
Essentially. I mean, like, the last 3 years has gone very fast.
Very fast. What did you say? 120 episodes? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Episode 1 to like 7 or 8 was in your dining room, in your 1-bedroom condo.
That's right. Yes. 1 to 7. Yeah.
We didn't know what the hell we were doing.